often you see a Liverpool 0-0, is it? And we've still got time. There's still time to get a winner here. Now we've got to wait for stoppage time. But we're pushing players forward in the attack. Elliott, lovely ball. Trent's free in the box. First time cross. Yes! Darwin Nunez has done the business. He scored late on. Great play by Salah. Now Chiesa. Liverpool are in here. It's Harvey Elliott edge of the area. Elliott. Nunez again. Nunez. Buries it. Get in there. Darwin Nunez again. He's on fire. The Uruguayan. Brentford 0. Liverpool 2.
Well, Liverpool left it late but boosted their Premier League title hopes at the weekend with victory at Brentford tonight. It's back to the Champions League, looking to preserve their perfect record so far. It is 6 wins and 6 for Arne Slot's side. They are all but secured an automatic place in the last 16. So it is match day 7 in this season's Champions League and just a third meeting between Liverpool and Lille. It gets underway at 8 o'clock tonight. Very good evening to you. Welcome along to Match Day Live as the fans stream into a very wet Anfield behind us. We will get the thoughts of Gemma Bonner and Jay Spearing in just a moment. But let's get straight to Liverpool team news tonight and Mark Benstead.
Thank you, Rob. Still no Joe Gomez, Diogo Jota for Arne Slot to call on tonight. But he does utilise the remainder of his squad this evening with the games coming thick and fast this month. He makes 4 changes in total from the weekend, and one of those sees Darwin Nunez rewarded with a place in the starting lineup after his heroics off the bench on Saturday. The team in 4 then is as follows. It's Alisson, Becker in goal. Then Virgil van Dijk is in from the off again. He started all 6 Champions League games so far this season. That record continues tonight. Luis Diaz retains his place in the weekend, as does Dominic Szoboszlai. Darwin Nunez comes in as mentioned. He makes his 15th start of this campaign after those 2 goals on Saturday. Mohamed Salah also starts. Like Van Dijk, he started all 6 Champions League games so far this season. If he scores this evening, he becomes Liverpool's first player to hit 50 goals in Europe. Curtis Jones comes in. His last start was against Spurs in the League Cup. Kostas Tsimikas is in again after pressing at the weekend. Ryan Gravenberch retains his place. He, like Van Dijk and Salah, has started all 6 Champions League games so far. Jarell Quansah, in contrast, starts his first Champions League game tonight. And the final member of the starting 11 sees Conor Bradley coming at right back in the place of Trent Alexander-Arnold. On the bench, it's Kelleher, Yaros, Endo, Konate. Konate misses the next match if he comes on and gets booked tonight. McAllister, Chiesa, Gakpo, Elliott, Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, Dans and Morton. Pretty straightforward task for Liverpool tonight. They've been very impressive in Europe so far. Another point will be enough to seal their place in the knockout stages. Their form here has been excellent. They scored 38 goals in the last 14 home matches here at Anfield.
Mark, thank you very much indeed. So 4 changes then for Arne Slot tonight to face Lille. Jay and Gemma are here. Let's start then with the hero from Saturday afternoon at Brentford. Jay, and Darwin Nunez will feel he deserves a start after coming to the rescue.
Yeah, and what an unbelievable occasion it was for him. You know, the critics and the people talking about him for weeks on end, saying he couldn't finish this, he couldn't finish that. To go and score 2 late goals and get the win for the team is obviously massive. The manager then now has given the belief to give him a start. You know, he's probably deserved it with the work rate and the patience that he's had to bide his time. But you know, it's a fantastic moment for him. I'm sure leading into tonight, he'll be full of confidence and want to try and keep that run of form going and getting an extra goal tonight.
It's interesting though, Gemma, because I was speaking to an ex-player in the press room before we made our way to the studio tonight about Nunez, and they said actually what Jay said is not right, that because he's so unpredictable, you're not quite sure whether that would have done him any good at all, or whether it could be a completely different performance from Darwin Nunez tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as a defender, when you come up against someone who's unpredictable, it's almost harder because sometimes they maybe don't know what they're going to do. But I think, look, at the weekend he came on, he was the difference ultimately. I think Liverpool needed that. I think the nature of the low block that they were playing against, he had something different, and he's almost instinctive, and a little bit erratic at times, but you know, sometimes he gets himself in them positions, and he got an important 2 goals at the weekend. So I think the thing that's impressed me is the amount of times that substitutes have come on and made a difference in the games. I think we spoke about it last time, but for him to come on and score the 2 goals, he'll be glad he's got the start tonight.
Do you feel that he's starting to have a little bit of the Divock Origi about him? Not necessarily with the way he plays, but he's not a scorer of many goals, but he's a scorer of important goals for Liverpool.
Yeah, you can see the comparison between the two. You know, the goals that they do come on when they come on the pitch, they are important ones. I think in the Premier League, he's probably the one to score so many that turns into winners. You know, so he's a player for, you want to say, big occasions and big moments. You know, when he needs to step up or someone needs to get that winning goal and change a game. Like Gemma said, you know, he's come off the bench a lot and impacted games massively, because he is that type of player that can just come on and cause carnage, if you want to say. You know, he runs in behind, he wins headers, he leaves challenges on defenders that they don't want. As a defender, obviously Gemma will know a lot more than I will. You know, to see someone like Darwin Nunez come on late in a game, you must be thinking, oh no, this is the last thing that they want to see. But, you know, it's an impact player. He's come on and he's at about his time. He's had, again, which I mentioned before, you know, the critics of his play, but again, you know, hopefully tonight he can kick on and have a full performance rather than an impact one.
Just on the point then about being an impact player, and as Jay was saying, particularly for a defender, I think one of the beliefs within the Premier League now is that 5 subs has changed things, because you can change half your outfield. And as Jay said, someone like him who is so full of energy as a centre-half, after 60, 70 minutes, you're thinking, oh great, I'm going to have to charge around after this guy for a while. Yeah,
I think he adds intensity to the game. I think the way that Liverpool are playing this year is very different to the other forwards that they've got in terms of how they're playing. It's a more measured approach and a lot more build-up and patient through the thirds. I think when you know you've got a player like him that can come on and wreak havoc amongst the opposition, I think especially later on in the games when the spaces appear, the opposition's getting tired, the last thing you want is someone full of intensity, full of physical presence to actually, whether it's getting on the end of the crosses or making the runs. I think he's such an asset as well for Liverpool to have on and almost come on, and if it's not him, he's causing havoc for someone else to benefit from that.
Sorry, I think he also brings like that edge to the fans. You know, when the fans see him come on, you know, even when he starts games, any run behind or impact he makes or challenge he makes, the fans go crazy about it. So, you know, to come onto a game, it might not, I'm not saying that obviously that it's a dull game or nothing much is happening, but to have someone like him to come on and set the fans alight, you know, to get them going, he runs in behind, he makes challenges. That's what the fans want to see. So, you know, automatically it lifts the atmosphere. It probably lifts the players as well to know that they've got someone who's completely different, like Gemma said, different strikers.
On the team as a whole then, 4 changes from Liverpool tonight. Do you think that in the coming weeks they have given themselves a little bit of wiggle room in the fact that the job is all but done in the Champions League? It's a nice draw again in the FA Cup, albeit a very long trip. And Ipswich, you would argue, is a winnable game. I know they all are, but a team in the relegation zone at the weekend, that Arne Slot can start to tweak 2, 3, 4 a week or a match in the next few weeks. Yeah, especially with obviously Lille tonight and then PSV next week. You know, these are 2 opportunities where, you know, we mentioned when we first started our Champions League campaign that it's the result after result. You want to obviously kick on start, you want to do well. We didn't quite know what the point system would be of when we would qualify. To go 6 games out of 6 is an incredible one that we probably all didn't really expect to see us do. But the way that we've played in every single game, we've deserved it. Now, with the opportunities, like you say, with the next roll of games coming up, I do think there's more opportunity for him to, like, you know, make a couple of changes, give people game time, give people rest. You know, Gravenberch, Van Dijk, Salah, they've played every minute of probably the Premier League and also probably every minute of the Champions League campaign as well. So there's opportunities for them over, ideally, if they get the right result tonight, which we hope we will, next week especially may get a night off. I was going to say, do you think that if Liverpool do win tonight and guaranteed of at least top 2 if they win this evening, that in Eindhoven next week, as Jay said, you don't want Van Dijk, Gravenberch, Salah in particular anywhere near that game if you can help it? Yeah, I think Arne's been very clever in terms of how he's managed the squad, and when he's taken players out, it's not really affected the rhythm of the team. You would hope that next week he'd be in a position to do that. But I also think tonight the players that have come in, they've actually had a lot of game time and they have been used in the Premier League as well. So even if it's coming on as a substitute, they've been ready and they've been required to play at that level. So although there's 4 changes, the players that are playing are coming in, they've been doing well when they've been substitutes, but also they're not
they're not new to being starters within the team. So I think although there's 4, the fluidity I don't think will change too much. But again, it keeps the competition, it keeps the freshness, and you know how long the season is and how many competitions that Liverpool want to be competing in, and there's still a long way to go.
Do you get the sense in the defence that Jarell Quansah feels that he will want to prove something to the manager, because he's not been used too much so far since Arne Slot arrived?
Yeah, I mean, he started the start of the season as the starting centre-half, and I think coming off at half-time, it was going to be, it's a very tough thing to be on the end of. He's such a young player and in a pivotal position as well, being a young defender. So he'll have learnt a lot this year. And I think he'll be frustrated that, the opportunities he has got. He's picked up a few niggles. He went off in the last game with illness, then able to come back on again. So I think, he's got such an incredible leader playing next to him in Virgil van Dijk. He'll be learning it. Again, another opportunity playing in Champions League football. Tonight, I think it, again, lets him grow as a player, uses those experiences, and I think he'll be ready to go out and perform tonight. And, when you've still got the likes of Gravenberch in front of you, Virgil van Dijk to the side and Alisson behind you, I think he can go and play with some confidence hopefully tonight. Just when Gemma was talking about being subbed at half time, she looked straight at you there as if you had a lot of experience of it all.
She knows something I don't.
A career encapsulated by a look. What about Curtis Jones then, who plays, you would think, a little bit deeper tonight alongside Ryan Gravenberch? What do you think suits him best, being one of those two pivots or being in that 10 position a little bit further forwards?
Curtis has had a little bit of an up and down season. I think in pre-season he was probably one of our best players. Start of the season he's done exceptionally well. Picked up a niggle, kind of found himself coming in and out of the team. For me, I think in the Euros as well, he played as a deep player for England under 21s when he won the campaign. I think he's an unbelievable ball player. I think he can build the attack just as much as Gravenberch can. For me, I think that if I was to pick him, I'd pick him more as an 8, more of an attacking player. I feel as if his most influence on the game is further forward towards the opposition's goal. I'm not saying he can't build it. I totally think that he can do that as well. But his best attributes for me is when he's further forward, creating things, trying to find them killer passes. The final decision, sliding someone in, making chances for obviously the front three to play. But he's had to bide his time over the last couple of weeks, and he's had a few critics as well over his performances. But again, another opportunity for him to come in and try and in a Champions League night to try and put a claim on a station to try and play the weekend as well.
Well, as we've alluded to a couple of times tonight, Liverpool perfect in the Champions League so far this season. The only 100% record still standing. They're looking to equal club record 7 straight Champions League victories this evening. In this new format, it's so far so good.
It's the new revamped UEFA Champions League as Liverpool return to the competition. Here come Milan charging forward. It's Pulisic and scores! And Konate is there and Liverpool are level. Can they find something from this side? And Van Dijk is there and Liverpool score from a set piece again. And Gakpo and Szoboszlai is there, and that is perfection. Forza Bologna! There's nothing quite like Anfield under the lights on a Champions League night. And McAllister, Liverpool score, and Liverpool do lead. Salah's looking to do it on his own. Another special Mohamed Salah moment. Liverpool take on RB Leipzig in Germany. There's a cross, Salah's header, Nunez taps in! Liverpool score! By Leverkusen and Xabi Alonso, who makes his return. Liverpool's 100% record goes on the line. Luis Diaz, it's outstanding. It had class written all over it. It's another chance, it's another goal, it's Luis Diaz. If they work it right, this is 4. It is 4, an outstanding personal night. It's the meeting of European royalty. What a tackle, scared of nothing. And Bradley and McAllister, what a goal! Lucas Vazquez goes down, penalty kick given. Gallagher saved one at the weekend, and he saved it again. Here go Liverpool, Salah penalty. And he shaves the post and it goes wide. And the delivery by Robertson, there's your header, there's your goal. Cody Gakpo raises the roof at Anfield. Match day 6 in the Champions League as Liverpool take on Spanish side Girona. Robertson, early ball in, comes to Luis Diaz, who goes down. Referee says get up. He's back on the field, he blows the whistle. Penalty! Salah runs up. Goal! It's 6 out of 6 for Arne Slot and Liverpool in the Champions League.
Yeah, so far, Jay, it has been everything Liverpool would have hoped for to have, as we said, that little bit of comfort coming into the final couple of games and beating some excellent teams along the way too. Yeah,
it's been an incredible, European campaign against some tough opposition as well. Obviously looking at the VT there, the AC Milans, the Leverkusens, the Real Madrids. There's been some unbelievable performances. You probably look at a lot of them and you think that Girona was a real difficult one. Girona was probably one where they kind of sat back. We didn't seem to be the team that we'd been in the previous games. We were finding it quite hard to create things, to break them down. But we got the job done, won another game of football, and we ended up getting the 18 points out of 18, and what an incredible start, and put us top of the hat and ensure that now that we've come this far, winning 6 games, I'm sure the boss, the players, everyone would obviously want the job done and finish as high as possible in that top 1 or 2, like you say.
It was interesting, Gemma, after the game on Saturday that Thomas Frank said they're the best team in the Premier League, but they're also the best team in the world. Therefore, would you make Liverpool favourites for the Champions League at the moment?
I think probably on form at the moment, Liverpool have to be talked about up there. But I think you're almost seeing in the recent few games that how teams are adapting to play against Liverpool and make it difficult for them. I think the unbelievable ability of the top 3 that Liverpool have, no matter who plays up there. So I think the difference now for Liverpool in terms of getting the results or turning those draws into wins is going to be how they can break down. And the weekend they had 37 shots and 13 corners, and they didn't score until the added time when Nunez came on. So I think it's then when you're coming up against these low blocks, trying to find can you be more effective with these opportunities that you do get, because I think they are, but they have to be maybe more ruthless in these situations.
Do you think that the new format has worked as a whole? I mean, it looks pretty exciting. There are a whole host of clubs covered by very few points, so you would think possibly going into that final round of games where everything kicks off at the same time next Wednesday that UEFA have got what they want, which is a lot of jeopardy going into it.
Yeah, to be fair, there's a lot of questions being asked, and is it the right thing to do? Personally, I loved the old format. It was an incredible way of doing things. This new format, I'm probably going to say it's been decent because of how well that we've done in it. We're sat at the top of the pile, so of course we're going to say it's done well now. But there's so many teams that are obviously not Liverpool, but I mean, the Man Cities, the PSGs that have kind of found this format different, but also difficult as well. You can see in the top 8, Brest have done incredibly well to be in that top 8. Atalanta, there are a couple of big names in there, but below that list, there are some incredible teams that are fighting to finish in that top 8 position. So yeah, as a whole, probably FIFA are thinking, well, we've done quite well. But as a Liverpool fan, yeah, delighted of how it's gone so far.
By the way, there's a couple of as it stands with those teams in the top 8 there. Atalanta are leading in their game at Sturm Graz at the moment, but Aston Villa are trailing against Monaco at the moment. So that will change over the course of the evening. I guess the question, Gemma, is however you shake up this format, do you still think come the last 8 it will be a lot of the familiar faces that Liverpool will have, the likes of Real Madrid and Bayern Munich and probably Arsenal, Manchester City for company at that point?
Yeah, I mean, you would expect the bigger teams to be up there. I think as the closer we get to the end, the pressure increases, especially for the teams that are not in the top 8. But I think it's interesting, when you look at that table, it doesn't almost reflect because everyone's played a different team. So it's not because everyone's played each other, it's because the opposition has been different. And, to see those teams not in the top 8 currently, it's almost a bit, funny looking at it. But for me, I think it's definitely been different. I think we sat here at the beginning, we don't like change, do we? But now we're top of the league, it's actually not too bad. So yeah, I think you would expect, but again, the pressure kind of increases the later the stages go.
That is an interesting point about the fact that everyone will play a different combination of the 8 teams. Does that for you skew it at all? That it's, because there will always be in the old format, which the We Hate Change Brigade over there used to love so much, that you would always get a group of death, and then you would always get a group which would be perceived a lot easier. Does this change anything at all, or do we still consider that Liverpool are the best team because they're 6 from 6?
I think it shows that Liverpool are the best team from best team because we won 6 out of 6. I do. Is a point I was going to jump on, that the fact that, you know, to play 8 different teams, I think that's actually really good. I think it's a fantastic thing. It's a one-off cup final. If you know, you're not in the old format, you could probably say, you know, the home and away one. You know, if you're a team that are class maybe not as good as Liverpool, or, you know, or obviously the Cities, the PSGs, the Real Madrids, teams that, you know, qualified maybe late on to get into the Champions League. If you're going to go and play them away, they may just sit back and just try and hold on for a point, where now both teams have kind of got to go for a result, because you're not too sure exactly how the format will end up being. Did you want to go down to the final 2 games hoping for points? Did you want to try and get off to a good start and finish? So, you know, the format was probably, well, it was brand new for everybody, but I feel as if, you know, Liverpool have done it the correct way, gone out there, won every game as possible, and got ourselves in a lovely spot to kind of watch how the rest falls out.
Well, let's get inside the ground. Full audio commentary of Liverpool against Lille coming your way at 8 o'clock this evening. Just the 3rd meeting between these 2 clubs. Just the 2nd time that Lille have come to Anfield. The last time back in 2010. Steve Hunter was there. Hasn't aged a day since then. But you weren't that day, Steve, the biggest name in the grounds.
I never am. That's you, my friend, isn't it? Yeah, Diego Maradona was here in the main stand watching that game in his duty as Argentina head coach. And funny enough, got a funny story for you about Diego and Liverpool. I was lucky enough to be commentating for the Reds on the Champions League final at the Ataturk in 2005. And Maradona was 3 rows behind us. And when we come back and Xabi Alonso scored, he was going crazy behind us, and then he was celebrating Jersey Dudek's save as well. And after that, he said he really admired Liverpool. He loved the way the fans had got behind the team. But that was in the Europa League, of course, back then that night. And Liverpool were 1-0 down from the first leg in France. Then Steven Gerrard got the crowd really going. He slotted a penalty in the opening 9 minutes, and then 2 wonderful finishes from Fernando Torres, including one in the 87th minute of that game, ensured that Liverpool went through. Of course, little did we know at the time, that was actually Rafa Benitez, his last season as Liverpool manager. You may remember we got to the semi-final, and that crazy journey on the trains because of the smog in the sky, wasn't it? And it was like incredible journey that the team went all the way to Madrid on a train. But we lost in that one. Alberto Aquilani, didn't he, scored in front of the Kop that night, but it just wasn't to be. It's a world away, isn't it? That era, really. I think that was when Rafa was coming into the end of his era, at loggerheads with the owners. We finished 7th in the Premier League, but it's a world away, isn't it, from now? Let's be honest with you, we're top of the Premier League, we're top of the Champions League group stage. We know a point will be enough to qualify tonight, and that would be absolutely fantastic, wouldn't it, with a game to go in this new look Champions League format. But Lille, you know, they're no mugs. They've beaten both Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid in the group stage so far. But all of the action coming up live later. Former Red Neil Mellor will join us for this one. Looking forward to it as always. Rob, it's all yours.
Steve, thank you very much indeed. I have to say, when he started with, I've got a funny story about Diego Maradona, my heart was in my mouth for just a moment as to what he might come out with. But he just mentioned what sort of pedigree Lille have in this season's Champions League and those big victories against both Madrid clubs. Let's get their team for tonight from Mark.
Thank you, Rob. Lille come into match day 7 sitting 8th in the standings at the moment, having suffered just 1 defeat so far. And as Steve just mentioned, they've picked up some notable results along the way, including victories over both the Madrid sides, which is not too shabby. In fact, their form generally has been very good. They suffered just 1 defeat in total since mid-September when they lost to Sporting Lisbon in this competition. They come into this game on the back of victory over Nice at the weekend and make 3 alterations to their side from that match, but they do stay with the same formation lineup with a 4-2-3-1. The team in 4 then is as follows. As normal, it is the impressive Lucas Chevalier in goal. Isamandi comes in at the back. Alexandro, the Brazilian, keeps his place from the weekend alongside him. Gabriel Gudmundsson, the Swedish left-back, comes into the team tonight. Icelandic Håkon Arne Haraldsson retains his place. He's from good footballing stock. Both parents are former internationals. Both brothers are also footballers. The star man is Jonathan David. The Canadian international has 17 goals this season. 6 of them have come in Europe. Remy Cabaya, the former Newcastle player, is in from the off. And Gar Macau comes in tonight as one of those 3 alterations. He starts in midfield. Bafodi Diakite keeps his place at the back. Mitchell Bakker, who overlapped with Ryan Gravenberch at young Ajax, retains his place in the starting side. And Benjamin Andre is also in from the off once again. He's the experienced, the 34-year-old, captains the side tonight. On the bench, they have Vito Manoni, the former Sunderland and Hull goalkeeper. Mark Aurelio Callard is the other sub-keeper. Angel Gomez, the England international, is amongst the subs, as is the Moroccan Osmani Sarawi. Thomas Meunier, you'll remember him from his days in the Premier League, is also amongst the replacements. Mohamed Bayo is there as well, alongside a familiar, name of sorts. Ethan Mbappe, the younger brother of Kylian, has shaken off a thigh problem. He is in the replacements tonight. Ismail drops to the bench. Ubu Badawi, the 17-year-old, is also there. And another teenager, Isaac Cossier, the defender, completes the lineup on the bench. I had hopes that Aaron Malouda, the son of Flora Malouda, the former Chelsea man, would be amongst the squad tonight, just so I could wind up Jay and make him feel old. But the man he played with, his son, not involved tonight, sadly, so all my prep out the window.
You didn't need prep, Mark. You can feel old. We can make you feel old anyway.
Mate. Yeah.
And hopefully Mbappe Jr. will be sent the same way that Kylian was a little bit earlier in the season with Real Madrid. If you are watching us on social media, you're about to leave us. But if you want to continue watching and see Gemma and Jay in their extended glory for the next 45 minutes or so before kick-off, details of how to do so, liverpoolfc.com/watch. So let's just point in the direction of what else is coming up over the course of the evening and beyond. We'll still hear from Ibrahima Konate and the Liverpool head coach Arne Slot between now and kick-off at 8. Full audio commentary on the way from Steve Hunter and Neil Mellor after that. And then post-match reaction from inside the tunnel at Anfield on the way from 10. All of this evening's post-match reaction will also be available as a podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from, and you can enjoy the full match again at midnight on LFC TV. We hope that it will be another one to remember for Liverpool as they look to make it 7 wins from 7. And it's been excellent against French opposition at Anfield over the years. Liverpool have won 13 of 16 games here against French sides and not lost since 2009. More build-up after the break.
Will be added on. More than enough time. Harvey Elliott! More than enough time. He really needed that. His first of the season. Liverpool